Santee Cooper presents Building the Dream. As far back as 1770, South Carolinians dreamed of creating a waterway route from the coast to the Midlands for use in interstate commerce. In fact, a canal was completed in 1800, but its success was short-lived. Severe droughts often left sections of the canal high and dry. The arrival of the steam engine in the 1830s was the last straw. It drove paddle wheel boats, railroad locomotives, and it drove the last nail into the coffin of that early dream. By 1850, the Santee Canal, America's first superhighway, was little more than an unnoticed creek winding quietly through the state. The dream to connect the merchants of the coast with the farmers of the Midlands and upstate was, for a time, dead. The stock market crash of 1929 plunged the United States into the economic darkness known as the Great Depression. And nowhere was the situation worse than in South Carolina. The state's farm-based economy was in collapse, and 80% of the young men who graduated from high school and college left the state. One newspaper reporter commented that human progress in every form has sunk about as far in South Carolina as a state can sink. But in 1934, a 64-member committee of elected officials from South Carolina traveled to Washington, D.C. to present a plan for South Carolina's economic renewal. The effort was to become known as the Santee Cooper Project. Two giant reservoirs, the Panopolis and the Santee, later to be named Lakes Moultrie and Marion, had to be dug and prepared to create dam-controlled hydroelectric power and deliver that electric power to rural sections of the state, thereby benefiting the health, welfare, and material prosperity of the people of South Carolina. It took 5 long years of political negotiating, but in 1939 the project was begun. Countless thousands of unemployed South Carolinians were put to work. Millions of feet of timber had to be cut and removed. Railroads and highways had to be built to assist in the project. The mighty Santee River itself had to be turned away from its normal course to enable the progress. 2 expansive lakes had to be dug and prepared. 9.2 miles of dams and 26 miles of dikes had to be built. And the 160,000 acres of reservoir space had to be filled with water. Many said the project would never be completed, that it was simply too large an undertaking. But the determined men and women of South Carolina were used to poverty and hard times. And only 3 years after the commencement of work, the Santee Cooper project was completed. The impossible had been done. All across the state, rural areas began to enjoy the advantages that electric power could provide. A 79-mile inland waterway was established between Charleston and Columbia, and a new industrial frontier had been created. The dream had become a reality, and it was called Santee Cooper.